Right now at noon, Governor Evers is delivering his final State of the State address, what he had to say and the reaction from Republicans. Plus, the results are in for last night's primary election. What candidates are moving on? This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Sprider. In his final State of the State address, Governor Evers dubbed 2026 the year of the neighbor while taking political jabs at the Republican legislature. The backdrop for the last night's address was property taxes. Republican leaders have been at odds over how to spend the state's $2.5 billion surplus for a property tax relief plan. As of Monday, the Assembly Speaker and Senate Majority Leader agreed on terms. They sent a letter to the governor that left out some demands. There is still a deadline to get any kind of relief across the finish line. The Assembly is set to adjourn by the end of the week. During his address, the governor called on the legislature to stay in session.
I'm hoping we can continue building on those efforts this session, including reaching bipartisan agreement on a plan to get meaningful resources to our K-12 schools and provide property tax relief at the same time. And it must balance these important obligations a heck of a lot better than the plan Republican leaders sent me this week.
While one side of the room cheered, the others sat quietly in response to the governor's critiques of the Republicans' proposal. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos told reporters Republicans tried to meet in the middle.
He wanted money for property tax relief. There's two ways to do it. The school levy credit, which we proposed, is actually bigger than his proposal. And then we also put other things in that he's wanted, which is funding for SNAP positions, making sure that we have funding for disaster relief, and an income tax rebate for every single person in the state who pays income taxes. So it seems to me we tried very hard to reach in the middle. Now it's the governor's job after a pretty partisan speech.
Vos also added the governor took credit for the bipartisan tax cuts. The Assembly is set to adjourn at the end of the week, but the governor announced he will call a special session in the spring. The goal will be to take up a constitutional amendment to ban partisan gerrymandering in Wisconsin. The results are in for the spring primary across the state. We're tracking several key races, including the race to fill Supreme Court Justice Susan Crawford's former seat. In the April election, incumbent Ben Jones will face off against Fitchburg immigration attorney Huma Asan. In the race of Dane County District 12 Supervisor, incumbent Tommy Rhinelander will face Sean Burke. For District 15, representing Madison's west side and parts of Middleton, incumbent Amy Larson will be on the ballot with challenger Nino Amato. And representing western Dane County in District 28, incumbent Michelle Doolin and challenger Nathan McCree will be on the ballot. There is one race in Rock County for District 29's supervisor. Challenger Zach Pappenbach will face the incumbent Kathy Scholes. They're both moving on. And in Juneau County, District 13's incumbent supervisor Eugene Morris is running against Raymond Weasley. Let's go to Sauk County now, where there are two races for supervisor. Representing northern Sauk County in District 3 are Brock Pelton and Nina Talek. The incumbent Lynn Ebert is not running. And in a close race for District 23 representing Spring Green, incumbent Dennis Polvika is advancing with Dave Terpstra, who topped Ray Ring by just 2 votes. You can see all of the results and find more information on the upcoming April 7th election by downloading our Channel 3000 news app. Right now, Madison police are investigating after an apartment building and vehicle were hit by gunfire. It happened just before 2 this morning. Officers were sent to Northport Drive for several reports of gunshots. Police found shell casings and the damaged vehicle and building in the area. Surveillance video shows one person possibly getting shot, but no one so far has shown up to the hospital with any injuries. Oregon police say the school bus driver involved in that crash with an SUV earlier this week has been cited for being on their phone while driving. It happened Monday afternoon near the intersection by St. John's Lutheran Church. In an initial statement, police said the SUV driver ran a stop sign and hit the bus. The bus driver and 3 children were not injured. The SUV driver and a passenger were taken to the hospital. Police have not yet confirmed the extent of their injuries. We're told the SUV driver is also expected to be cited for failing to stop. Let's get a first check of your first warn forecast now with meteorologist Savannah Brito. Boy, we are just hanging on to these mild temperatures, but the end is near.
I know we had record warmth on Monday. It was still mild yesterday, and we're sitting in the 50s across a lot of southern Wisconsin right now. But big changes underway starting as early as tonight for some. Snow showers at the moment, all well to our northwest up near La Crosse and Black River Falls. So central Wisconsin will see these snow showers pretty much now through the rest of the day. We're going to be dry across southern Wisconsin the rest of today, but starting tomorrow afternoon, our next system is set to return. That'll bring us rain and isolated thunderstorms, and then a chance of heavy snow to follow that as temperatures fall. We'll see that transition. Today we have gusty winds. This will stay around for the weekend too. Right now gusts are anywhere between about 15 and up to 20 miles per hour. Could see those get close to 40 to 45 miles per hour, and that's why we have that elevated fire weather risk for later today. That continues through all of southern Wisconsin. Northern Illinois and to our southwest, there's wind advisories and even a red flag warning. And you can see this camera shaking a little bit. This is outside of Platteville this afternoon. Lots of sunshine though, and like I said, mild temperatures, but that is going to change as early as tonight and especially by the weekend. So it'll be a stretch, Josh, from what we just had last weekend and the record warmth Monday down to the 30s heading into this weekend, but it's February.
I'll have to get the coat back out. I haven't worn it the last couple of days.
Yeah, I had the shorts out.
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing. Savannah, thank you. Well, next week marks 4 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine as a new round of U.S. brokered peace talks in Switzerland wraps up. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, representing the U.S., also holding indirect talks with Iran over its nuclear program. Here's Natalie Brand.
Negotiators from the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine met for a second day of talks in Geneva, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky telling his team in a video conference some groundwork has been done, but for now the positions differ. Zelensky said discussions included how to monitor an eventual ceasefire if a deal to end the nearly 4-year-long war is reached. But disagreement remains over Ukraine's eastern Donbas, a region Russia insists Ukraine should give up. Russia's lead negotiator called the dialogue difficult but businesslike, saying the next meeting will take place in the near future. The U.S. also wrapped another round of nuclear talks with Iran this week. A U.S. official says progress was made, but adds there are still gaps and a lot of details to discuss.
Everything is on the table.
The Trump administration has long insisted on no uranium enrichment, even though Iran has defended its right to have a nuclear program for civilian purposes.
The Iranians say that they're not interested in a nuclear weapon. We know, in fact, that's not true. They have shown a number of things that make it clear that they're interested in acquiring a nuclear weapon. Our goal is to make sure that doesn't happen. And again, the president has a lot of tools in the toolkit to make sure that doesn't happen.
While negotiations are expected to continue, the U.S. has surged military assets to the region, with a second aircraft carrier on its way to the Middle East. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump plans to hold his inaugural Board of Peace meeting at the White House Thursday to discuss the reconstruction of Gaza. Well, it is now day 18 in the search for the missing mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. DNA collected from a glove 2 miles from her phone had no matches in a national database. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says they're turning to commercial genealogy databases. Investigators are also looking into gun purchases around Tucson. Even parent company of Facebook, Meta, says it's offering assistance. Meanwhile, a Milwaukee attorney is putting $100,000 of his own money up for information on the kidnapping.
Well, I sent the check today, so my reward hasn't been announced by Crime Stoppers in Tucson. But we're hoping that we get the one right tip. Somebody said he wanted Bitcoin in advance. He knew who the perpetrator was. That's not the way it works. If you pay him in advance, he can take your money and run, and he could be a phony. So this is ironclad, works.
Authorities are also honing in on the backpack the suspect was wearing in the surveillance video the night Guthrie vanished. This Ozark Trail brand sold exclusively by Walmart. Pima County Sheriff says Walmart has handed over the purchase records with names. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, what day Expedia says is the cheapest to fly. Plus, how much money Bayer says it's proposing for a settlement to resolve several lawsuits.
Bayer says it has proposed a $7 billion settlement to resolve lawsuits alleging Roundup weed killer made by its Monsanto subsidiary caused non-Hodgkin lymphoma. If the court approves the deal, Monsanto would make annual payments for 21 years. Cancer patients exposed to Roundup before this proposed settlement can file claims for payments, according to Reuters. The agreement does not include any admission of guilt or wrongdoing. The company says it has also agreed to settle other Roundup-related cases. CBS News parent company Paramount Skydance is getting one last chance to make its final offer for Warner Brothers Discovery. It comes after Netflix granted a waiver for talks to resume for a week, despite agreeing to buy Warner Brothers Discovery last year. Paramount Skydance says its offer is superior, but Warner Brothers Discovery says it's still backing Netflix's offer to shareholders. And planning a trip soon? Expedia's 2026 Air Hacks says Tuesday is now the cheapest day to fly domestically, while Fridays are cheapest for international flights. Expedia says Friday is also the best day to snag the most inexpensive fares. And August is the cheapest month to fly internationally, saving travelers on average close to 30% over flying in December. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow's up 304 points, NASDAQ up 312, and the S&P 500 up this hour 57. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. We'll have today's farm numbers up next, and Savannah is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, it's National FFA Week. How the organization is still helping students 97 years later. Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn this afternoon, so here are your farm numbers. Time now for your certified most accurate forecast with First Warn meteorologist Savannah Brito. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Josh. We're tracking warm temperatures at the lunchtime hour. We've got the lower to mid, even a couple of upper 50s, close to 60 this afternoon in Janesville, 55 in Waukesha. We're at 53 in Madison. It's a little cooler up near La Crosse and Viroqua, only got the upper 40s. That's still mild for us for this time of year. This is the last day of really, really mild temperatures. We'll still be in the 40s tomorrow for parts of the day and for southern Wisconsin, but we trade in the sunshine that we have right now for rain, storms, and snow showers. We're going to see every type of precipitation pretty much in the span of one day, but for now, enjoy the nice temperatures while we do have them. We're falling down into the mid to upper 30s overnight, and that's the last warmer night that we do have. We're still going to be near 30 Thursday night, but then we are going to see that snow factored in. The windy conditions are going to stick around today. They come down a little bit for Thursday, but after the next weather maker that we see that brings us rainstorms and snow, that's going to allow our winds to really increase again Friday and as we head into this upcoming weekend. We're at 12 miles per hour Madison, 23 in Janesville, 26 in Platteville, and 18 in Viroqua. These are sustained winds. Gusts are a little bit stronger than that, closer to about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Because of the low relative humidity and the skies that quickly cleared, we have dry weather conditions, warm temperatures, and breezy conditions. That's why we have an elevated fire risk. Wind advisories are confined to areas to our southwest of Dane County, Monroe, Mineral Point, Platteville, Boscobel, Prairie du Chien. in areas south of Lone Rock and Viroqua included in this. It'll expire at 6 p.m. The special weather statement, though, this is for pretty much the majority of the area for the elevated fire weather risk, and then a red flag warning to our south across northern Illinois and then out across Iowa, Decorah, Cedar Rapids. That's where the better chance of that wildfire spread risk is, but we still do have that something to watch across southern Wisconsin. And then the wet weather is going to return tomorrow. We do have the chance of thunderstorms. So this is similar to what we saw overnight. We're just under this green category. That's technically one level shy of this marginal risk, which is actually to our south across the Rockford and Chicagoland areas. That's a level 1 out of 5 when you're looking at best chances for severe weather. We just have general thunderstorms. It's not impossible. We see a couple of stronger storms very similar to what we had last night, but the best chance of severe weather is going to remain to our south. Let's time out this system using Future Check. Expecting a lot of sunshine through the rest of the day and clear skies here. If you're headed north towards central Wisconsin, that's where we're going to see light to moderate snow showers continue now through the next several hours. Everyone's going to see a break in precipitation for tomorrow morning. But then as we get closer to about 1 to 2 p.m., that's when some light rain starts to track in out of Iowa into southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. We'll just be seeing rain to start this system and some isolated thunderstorms because temperatures are still going to be sitting in the 40s here. But directly west, Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, Lone Rock, Platteville, those places are going to quickly cool down, already dropping into the mid to upper 30s. So they'll mainly be seeing that heavier snow, and this is going to be a wet snow because of how warmer temperatures are going to be. When you have temps sitting near freezing level or even in the mid 30s, you get that heavy wet snow, which everyone will see that transition the closer to about 10 to 11 p.m. tomorrow and last through early Friday. So we could be looking at a little bit of accumulation here in Madison. I think west and north has the better chance up near La Crosse, Black River Falls, and Viroqua. Ground temperatures luckily have been pretty warm, and we are going to see the rain here in Madison and areas eastward. So I do think it's not impossible. We see a little bit of snow stick to the ground, but we had record heat on Monday, 60 calling for that high today. Yes, it'll be cool, but I do think the ground will be a little bit too warm to see a decent snowpack, if you will, which I'm okay with because yes, we're in February, but I love the weather we had the last couple of days.
Boy, weird being woken up by thunder in the middle of February last night, though.
It was crazy.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, attention job seekers, the Rock County Job Center is hosting a job fair today. 26 different employers from across the county will be taking part in the free event. You do not need to update or print your resume right this second, as the Job Center will be opening up its resource room for those who need it. This event is scheduled to be held from 2 to 4 this afternoon. You have less than 2 weeks to nominate your favorite person, place, and thing to do for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison. You can nominate one per category per day, every day through February 28th. We're also celebrating the city's best business and leaders. Join us for the Best of Business program February 27th at the Concourse Hotel. You can learn more and get your tickets on our website, channel3000.com. Up next, Angie Horkin for the Wisconsin Beef Council has a new recipe for us. She'll show us how to make an Italian-inspired recipe that you can make in just one pot. Welcome back this afternoon. Angie Horkin for the Wisconsin Beef Council is here with another tasty February recipe, and we're making pasta.
We are. We're going to make a heart-healthy recipe. Since
Love that.
February is Heart Month. So I've got, and it's a really nice 30-minute kind of one skillet meal. It kind of checks off a lot of boxes.
Making it easy for families.
6 ingredients, right? And you're going to start with a pound of lean ground beef. So I bought a 96% lean because that's what my supermarket had. But any percentage leaner than 93% qualifies as USDA lean, and then qualifies into a recipe that could get the American Heart Association checkmark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Simple ingredients, too.
Oh, so simple. So I literally browned up that pound of ground beef. Takes about 8 to 10 minutes. I put in a can of beef broth. I put in a can of low sodium or no salt added diced tomatoes. And then pasta. Your pasta cooks right in here. It only calls for a cup of, I used like a rotini pasta, because then you simmer this about 15 minutes till your pasta's done. And then it calls for 1 zucchini and 1 yellow squash. My supermarket didn't have yellow squash, so I threw in 2 small zucchinis.
There you go.
That kind of cooks in here. And then some Italian seasoning. a teaspoon and a half of Italian seasoning, and literally that's it. But it's so nice. It's kind of a nice meal prep recipe too. If you wanted to make it
for the week.
Divide it up into 4 servings.
Yes, yeah.
It'd be a perfect lunch.
We like simple, especially in these busy times.
30 minutes. So yeah. Beeftips.com, you'll find this recipe, and this month on the website under As Seen on TV, I've got all of our great links to our nutrition page, our whole American Heart Association certified recipe collection.
Tilt that up for the camera here.
Let's top with some Parmesan, and let's add some fresh basil too. I think that would taste good on this one.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Tasty.
So 30 minutes, beef or ground beef and pasta skillet primavera.
Also kind of nice for winter yet, right?
Definitely. I love pasta this time of
I
year.
know, and this one's healthy.
This one's healthy.
Can't beat it. All right, Angie Horkin, as always, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, now I'm hungry, Savannah.
Me too. Need to go get some lunch after this. Well, Josh, temperatures are still expected to get right up to about 60, and then we have the quite the cool down once we're heading into the weekend. We've got the 30s that are going to return. We'll see rain, storms, and snow all in the span of tomorrow. Not until later in the day, but yeah, the 30s, near normal temperatures returning for the weekend, right after that record warmth we just had, unfortunately. But it is February after all.
It's still winter.
Yes.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Thanks for watching us at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is live at 4, and we're always on at channel3000.com.